Howdy, y'all. Dean Stilly here from the official home of unofficial Grateful Dead and music news. Reporting from quarantine is overnight. I became an elementary school principal. I'm a second and fifth grade teacher. I run the cafeteria. And I'm the janitor, too, so we're doing everything around here. This will be a little bit different. I don't feel like I got to squeeze anything in any kind of predetermined amount of time. Just talk a little bit about things. I've gotten a lot of messages. People say, you should review the streams they're doing or the old Dead shows or whatnot. So I guess I got enough of them. I figured I got a little bit of time. Let me put something out there for folks that have been asking. Brother Bob, love you forever. Brother Bob text late last night. I was sleeping, but he text said you should put something out there and please give me a shout out because I'm home and I'm lonely and I want to be acknowledged. And that he maybe didn't use those words, but I could tell in his heart that's most likely what he was feeling because I'm an intuitive motherfucker and as I know what he was feeling. Anyway, love you, Bob. That was fun. So I maybe should have started with these when they did Buffalo, Trucking to Buffalo, because that show, I love that show. I was there, did the whole summer tour in '89. So I was there in Buffalo. And what gets you about that show, Trucking to Buffalo, number one, the post-space segment is great. It's dynamite. You see Garcia, that was the summer, he was sporting orthopedic loafers. He had some fucking nurse shoes on or something. It looked like he got them from a nurse. It didn't matter. It was Garcia. He could do whatever he wanted, and he would make that shit cool. And if you tried, you'd look much less cool. There's no doubt about that. But he was Garcia, so he could do whatever the hell he wanted, and we loved it. So I'm up there and I'm thinking, if you had no clue who Garcia was and your band's playing in this bar and this guy comes up to you in his t-shirt wearing nurse's shoes, he's got his orthopedic platforms on, got some granny shoes he's wearing, is, hey guys, you mind if I sit in for a song? You guys know Watchtower? And then Garcia come in there and just melt the fucking head right off your neck. I mean, it just blazes through that Watchtower. It's unbelievable. And that's part of me was so much of the attraction of Garcia was the unassuming appearance and how he pulled it off. Opposed right up against how huge of a sound he was making while he did it. When that wall of sound just would come over you and you'd look up and Garcia, he just head down. He was all business. Every now and then give you a smile or a nod as we lived just to follow every wrinkle on his fucking forehead. Really, only one musician in the history of my life has ever had me so captivated by everything they did while they were playing, and the most amazing thing was how understated their approach to it was. That to me was just an incredibly special aspect of Garcia. We all know. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. Last night we get Buckeye Lake. Buckeye Lake, you get 93. The summer of 93. This is the haircut tour. It says they all come out. They're all freshly cut. Mickey's got the proper hair helmet on, and he's all trimmed up. It's coming off of the early 90s where he brought the ponytail back for a while. That's 91. Great time. 90s. Great time. Anyway, so everybody's looking all trimmed and coiffed. Vince, he wasn't invited to the haircut party. So he wasn't invited to that party, but everybody else made it. This is a haircut tour. Garcia comes out. Purple shirt. So here's another thing about Garcia. There's no artist that I know of that I give a fuck what they're wearing, and Garcia would just change the color of his shirt and it was some kind of big deal. It was, oh shit, Garcia's wearing purple. So anything that wasn't black or navy blue, holy shit, look at him go, he's got a red shirt on. And what's funny is I don't know anybody in the jam band world, or in the music world, really, that the color of the shirt is such a huge deal. But us deadheads, he wears something other than black, it's a deal. So that's just how we are. He's wearing shorts, he's looking strong, he's out there, he's ready to celebrate summer. Get the whole thing started, Jack Straw kicks it off, and it starts off, and the sound is terrible, it's muffled as shit. It brought me back to some of those times in Grateful Dead land, band took the stage, almost seemed like, when there's a tray that they serve food, they want to keep it warm, they cover it. They got that cover on it. And sometimes when the band used to start, it used to sound like that cover was over them. And then the hand of the universe, the musical universe, little by little, as the opening song would develop, would just open that cover a little bit until the cover was off and the sound opened up and filled the real estate where the show was taking place. That used to happen often, and it was exciting when things would just open up and all of a sudden the sound would kick in. This one in the beginning, it's muffled. It's no big deal. The good part is it's muffled, but Garcia and Phil are super high in the so they're super loud. So if you've got Garcia and Phil super loud, if there's going to be a sound problem, that's the direction you want that to go in. Make sure Garcia and Phil have plenty of volume. That's a good sound error if you gotta have one. So that was just fun. Jack Straw's fun. Looking at Mickey, I love watching Mickey in these videos of the 90s, 80s stuff. Like Mickey was just an incredible showman and just killed it. Just a ferocious guy up there. I love hearing the sound of his hi-hat. Love that cymbal that always hung right there. He'd backhand that one every now and then as a... Those were the days. So there we go. Foolish Heart, it starts after Jack Straw. Foolish Heart, we got a Mickey, he's playing with some femurs or something. They show Mickey, he's playing with some femurs. He's got varmint femurs he's jamming with, and Foolish Heart is fun. To close that one, Garcia was just feeling it. He was deep into that one. You get the same thing next. Same thing is a great one on Weir. I always like the same thing. It's a very, very somewhat gnarly tone on his guitar, bordering on abrasive. Garcia, he digs into that one. There's a point in that one where Garcia digs into the solo, and the sound is just huge. It's just Garcia's sound was so big, and the whole machine was so well oiled, and so really I think it became less. This was the beginning for me, 93, 92 maybe, the beginning of really the end of much really, really good music. But anyway, the sound was just big when they were making it, so that was good. They get on to even Vince. Vince, he had a respectable sound going there. Buckeye in '93. It's didn't sound like he was selling cotton candy at a carnival or some shit like that. I thought he had a respectable sound. At different times of the night, they were through the roof with his volume. Mix kind of jumped all over the place. Or in the Black Peter, he was. God, way up there in the mix. Anyway, it's just little things we notice as we're listening and enjoying what's happening. So you get Lazy River Road next. Mad Dez stumbled around on that a little bit. I'm not sure that was one that you really want to put on any kind of... it is what it is. Tom Thumb's next. We loved when Phil sang back in the day. When Phil sang, that was an incredible joy for all of us, so that was fun. Tom Thumb's blues is not like anything incredibly interesting is going to happen in that one other than them playing the song, but we just loved seeing Phil sing. We didn't get it much. Every couple shows you got a Phil tune, so we loved when he took it up. Masterpiece is up next. Weir, he fires, that gets that one started. He's sounding Ibanez-y as a motherfucker. He's really almost like a glam metal band. His sound on that Black Ibanez. So anyway, Felipe killing it. He's way up in the mix. It sounded like Jill was on the soundboard controlling Phil's volume. He was all the way up in the mix the whole show. I love that. When I thought about it, I thought to myself, I don't know if any bass player in the history of music has ever consistently been turned up as loud as Phil. I tried to think about different bands and different artists and great bass players over the years, and I still can't think of anybody in the history of music who's was as forward in the mix and as turned up in the whole experience as Phil. We were blessed to experience that when he hit the fat strings. So we all knew about it. We lived for that shit. So anyway, I usually love Garcia howling the backups for Masterpiece. He seemed a little more restrained than he might be otherwise. I might have gone for a bowl of cereal at some point during that. I'm not sure, but it seemed like Garcia's his backups didn't seem like he was howling them out as well as he usually did. So after that, you get so many roads. They stumble out of the gate on that one. Maybe a little false start trying to get that one started. Stumble out of the gate. The catch, it doesn't matter. As soon as Garcia starts singing, he had the potential to just completely get your attention in a hurry. So you would just he'd change your focus. Whatever you were thinking about, his voice starts and you're locked in. So it's not long before he's got your complete attention. In the middle of this one, I got to admit, I'm thinking of all the video they have in the vault, why the hell are we getting this mediocre ass show? That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. And then really, as Garcia starts finding that song at the end of it, at the end, he just starts feeling that deeply. And so, well, that might have been reason enough to experience this one again. They go to Promised Land. Really, this one is once no pace problems here, boy. They're on fire. This one's moving with steam, and this was one of those great weird closers. Promised Land and Music Never Stop, and excuse me, some of those powerful weird set closers. That was a good one. At the end, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be cool, or as maybe someone just, there's some tricks they could play with on their new video monitor or something, but at the end of that one, all of a sudden everyone's playing on the face of a watch. And I have no idea what that's supposed to symbolize. Maybe there's some kind of hippie Illuminati thing I'm missing or something, but to watch, and I thought, you go to a Grateful Dead show, there's 30,000 people there. You're lucky if you find 12 watches on people. I don't think any of us wore watches much back then. I'm not sure too many of us do to this day. There's a little more than there used to be, probably, but everybody's playing on the face of a watch to end Promised Land. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is that? Anyway, I'm sure it was probably cool at the time. It didn't matter. It wasn't going to change much of anything. So the best thing about this is intermission. There's no intermission. So here we go. They just, if Weir says we'll be back in just a little bit, he's not lying. They're right fucking back. They're on it. Eyes starts. Garcia's fully illuminated right there. That's what it's all about. As at that point, when darkness falls and the lights are in full effect, and Garcia just there, and in all of his brilliance, just emanating Garcia-ness everywhere. That's just good. Everyone is beating the hell out of this jam. Mickey, he's swinging half-hard dildos. Kreutzmann, his eyes are back in his head. He's seizuring out. They're all loving this one. We get the flowers blooming. Videos of flowers blooming. You always like that one. That was always a good one when you were electrified watching flowers blooming. Garcia is just tattooing my mind with an endless barrage and selection of notes. Jamming through that eyes, that's a good time. So playing, here we go. After that, we get playing after an outstanding eyes. Mickey's beating the fuck out of it, really. Garcia's all over it. The two of them right there, listen, Garcia, he doesn't need plexiglass. He's right there. next to Sam, right there next to Mickey. Mickey be beating the hell out of it. Garcia never even flinch. He'd stay right there, right next to him. Didn't need plexiglass. There was probably shrapnel from Mickey's sticks hitting cymbals, bouncing off Garcia. He's unfazed. He's right there in it. He's not afraid. It doesn't hurt him, but he is Garcia. That's what makes him Garcia. So we know Weir, when he takes that space, he's building his fucking phone booth over there. But that doesn't matter because we love him long time, and he's Weir, so it doesn't matter. Video goes back to, you get the vintage video. They start rolling door and play, and you get some great shots of Pigpen and that was good. Old shots of the band. Some old shots come up. Mickey and Billy, they're in the 70s there. Late 70s and early 80s. They look like magicians from Vegas. The two of them look like a team that do magic tricks in Vegas. Hilarious. Great old shots. Vintage shots were playing during that. And the jam, I mean, really... it starts breaking down so much, and you know, in the midst of this like chaos that's ensuing, they all catch this common thread, and Billy and Mickey, they drive it. The only thing that's stopping, like the whole universe from stopping, as the musically, it feels like if someone's going down an escalator and they fall down in a very slow fashion, and little by little, people slowly move into that same spot, just pile up, to just be an enormous pile. And musically, that's kind of what happens if Billy and Mickey don't keep the procession moving. So it's very funny that I'm thinking, if it wasn't for Billy and Mickey back here keeping this procession moving, we'd all, the momentum be moving. Everybody's so far forward. At times I wonder if they stopped, if we all would have little by little, a couple hundred of us at a time, just like that escalator going down, just smooshed all into each other, turned into one giant human. And that one giant human would get up and dance like a motherfucker. It's probably a thought I had when I was electrified at some point. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. But anyway, that was fun. That's how it was. They're jamming it out. You get Uncle John's to end that one. Uncle John's was good. Goes into Karina. Karina, these were days where Karina wasn't too bad. I mean, anything with Garcia involved is going to be less bad. But the jam to close Karina was outstanding. Really, that one, they extended the way into. We used to remember those jams. Like, to me, you throw Terrapin there after that Karina, and the show gets abundantly better. But so the jam that follows Karina, a long jam, you know, those jams, sometimes they do those long jams prior to drums, and you'd sit there, you'd wait, and something crazy, something special's gonna happen. This is gonna bust some shit out. They're gonna do something nutty. It's just gonna be drums. I can't remember how many times that happened to me with those jams that follow songs that lead into drums. That was one of those times. The drums are fun. Billy, he's back there jamming. Billy's flinching like a dog that's got his head out of the window of a train and it's raining. And he's flinching, beating the hell out of everything. One of my favorite things, between the eyes back in his head like he's having a seizure, and Bill's Kreutzmann's his flinching episodes. I love that shit. I watch him, and that stuff makes me happy. I always would look over there, and he'd be flinching just like that. Drums is great. You get space. It's funny when you listen to these things separated from the moment when you're there that night. That space went on forever. It didn't go on nearly as long. Space at times is what I imagine. It's like a musical interpretation of what heaven might be like. If things, you just, the familiarity of things. Sometimes I think heaven, like, well, known as we were known, will know others the same. I think of during Space Jams, all these familiar sounds you hear in there, right? You hear Anita Miracle, you hear the other one. It's all these familiar friends are roaming around there, and at different times in the experience, you hear them, and there's something in your neurology that connects to it. There's that familiar piece that your body attaches to, and there's this semblance of joy in that. And so I often think, I bet you heaven is kind of similar to that. If that's what we experience, who knows what comes after this? But so I often think it's got to be an experience very similar to that. Just the familiar sounds, the familiar sights, the not that. So you may be able to see people as you knew them, but if not, I certainly expect that there would be things that would cause you to feel them the same way. So I don't know if that makes sense, but being that this is a quarantine review, I'm just going on about shit. So I said, nobody's got anywhere to go, neither do I. So we'll keep it going. So all your old friends, familiar friends, are roaming around in space. The one that gets picked to the big dance is the Wheel. And the Wheel, that's just a great time. You listen to that and think, boy, that's how the Wheel's supposed to be. I'm not sure it sounded that way since the Grateful Dead hung it up and Garcia graduated, but that's the way the Wheel's. You get Watchtower, the jams in Watchtower. Garcia just furious, just absolutely furious in his jams there, and it didn't have to do much or move much. This huge sound coming out of this guy that's just rock solid there. It's like a psychedelic maple, and the syrup is oozing out of him as he's playing that Watchtower. Black Peter, you get Black Peter now, and so you listen to this and you realize Garcia, Black Peter. The Black Peter does not resemble this. The one that Dead and Company plays nowadays is not even a distant relative to this song. Garcia just lays that one down. The Black Peter was amazing. Vince turned all the way. He was way too loud throughout that. I mean, Vince was just turned way up. Mamma mia, he need to come down a little bit. But the impact is so overwhelming, while the delivery is like so understated. This jam is just consuming you, and you're hanging on every note of it. And then you just look up there at Garcia, and he's focused at the task. There's nothing flashy happening, but his sound's flashier than the motherfucker. You think he could do some incredible stuff if he wanted to during this. So that's sometimes what's so amazing about Oteil. Oteil, he danced like a motherfucker during the music. Garcia, there was not a lot from him, just the occasional smile. He'd just grin a little bit or something, or just give you the look over his glasses, or wrinkle up his head, and that's it. We all went right over the fucking edge. Anyway, there's only one. As Sugar Mags closes the thing down, and so here we are. Grateful Dead got years of summer shows on video. They got so much video, and they're going to give us streams, and what do they give us? They give us Truckin' to Buffalo, which everybody's had for years now. That DVD came out years and years and years ago, and now we're going to get a 93 show, an okay show, but come on. And the last two songs they don't have the video of. So someone didn't flip the tape, or they ran out of tape, or no one bothered to put a new one in. Or I heard that during Sugar Mags, he had a wardrobe malfunction, and I heard that they cut the video because he had testicle coming out of his shorts, and it looked like a turkey head without a beak was just trying to escape very loosely from Weir's britches. I don't know if that's true, but somebody had mentioned that they had to cut the video because there was a turkey head without a beak on it that was coming out of Weir's trousers. I don't know if that's true, but I think someone mentioned that. I mean, you think he'd be able to tuck it in and we could get some video by the time as a broke down came around. But anyway, so they got all this video, and we get an incomplete video of a show from 93 that's good. It's not great. There's so much stuff that they have, and they're tighter than a crab's ass with the video, and I have no idea why. Maybe there's reasons that I don't understand, but there's so much video for us to have. Throw Bonner Springs from the summer of 91 up there. There's tons of stuff. I mean, I have no idea why we tend to either get incomplete stuff. Like this one is out of all the choices. This one, we got no video for the last two songs. So the Night Out at the Movies, Giant Stadium, was great to get that. I think it might have been the year before that. They played the Grateful Dead movie. I mean, that's just there's so much video to have. And if you ask me, the last generation of people that are going to be super interested in buying Grateful Dead video is alive right now. It's us. It's us. It's probably people in 50. Interesting. I'm watching this video last night, and I'm thinking Garcia's my age. I'm Garcia's age in this video. It's crazy. So, boy, he had a lot of years on him. I mean, he lived them thoroughly. So there's that. It's just really, he was just. I think he was born probably with the wisdom of a 20-year-old, and that's what happened. Is he just listen, when you have that much talent, sometimes the clock just runs faster on it. I don't know. That's the nature of the game. I'm losing my place here while I'm trying to talk about this. Anyway, so you get this video. There's tons of video. Hop off the tight wagon. This is the last generation, I think, that's going to have that much interest in buying up all this video. I don't know why they're not doing anything with it, because there's a lot of great video that exists, and slightly weak the way they've kind of dribbled stuff like this out. When they do stuff, it tends to be video that we've all had for the past 30 or 40 years. So anyway, I'm glad they're doing it. For me, I love it no matter what. It's the Grateful Dead, and it's great. I just wonder about that sometimes. Why they're keeping so much video locked up, and is they're going to give you a treat like this, and they give you something that's, you know, as flawed as it is in a show from really the downhill slope of the ending of the Grateful Dead here. 93, there's not much that I go to revisit on a regular basis from 93, 92, 93, 94, 95. As I know, as people, there's a lot of people that came into the scene then. Those shows are very special to them, so I'm sure they appreciate that abundantly, and people from Ohio probably love this one. Either way, I was happy that I had it. It's grateful to just sit and talk to you guys about it a little bit. So maybe we'll find some ways to put some stuff out there, see if we can find anything to be entertained with while we wait on the country to fire up again properly, and so that may take some time, so who knows. Anyway, I love you long time. I hope you and your family are strong and healthy. We sure are here in the great state of New Jersey. We're healthy and strong, and we're enjoying ourselves, so we're flowing in love, and so I'm hoping the same for all of you. We'll talk to you next week, maybe next week. Love you.